As the sun dipped below the horizon, the once bustling train station nestled in the heart of the valley fell quiet. Dust motes danced in the fading light, settling on the wooden benches that had not seen a traveler in years. The air was still, with only the soft rustle of leaves and the distant call of a lone bird breaking the silence. Shadows stretched long across the platform, reaching out like fingers toward the forgotten train tracks that wound their way through the field. The tracks glimmered faintly, hinting at stories long lost in time. They snaked between tall grasses and wildflowers, now reclaiming what man had built. Here, magic lingered in the twilight air, whispering secrets of journeys taken and adventures awaited. The buildings around stood silent. Weathered walls and peeling paint told tales of laughter and goodbyes, all enhanced by the enchanting glow of dusk. As darkness deepened, an otherworldly hush enveloped the station. It was as if time itself held its breath, waiting for something remarkable to unfold. The shadows seemed to weave and dance over the iron posts, casting playful patterns that inspired a sense of wonder. This was a place where dreams mingled with reality, and anything seemed possible as night blanketed the landscape. The tranquility stirred imagination, the kind of setting where legends could take flight and mysteries awaited beneath the surface. It felt like something extraordinary was about to happen. Little did anyone know that soon, these quiet tracks would become part of a tale no one could have predicted. The following morning, whispers of astonishment spread like wildfire through the small town. As the sun peeked over the hills, illuminating the valley, locals gathered at the train station, their eyes wide with disbelief. The train tracks, once straight and sturdy, now appeared folded and twisted like a ribbon spun by a child's hand. It was as if someone had taken a giant's toy and carelessly twisted it overnight, leaving the community in awe. Curiosity fueled their conversation as they pointed and murmured among themselves. How could this happen? Was it some kind of magic or a trick of the light? Some elders recalled old folktales about travelers who had vanished into thin air, while children imagined playful fairies at work. Everyone felt a thrill of excitement, drawing them closer to the spectacle before them. As they examined the unusual sight, the tracks seemed to shimmer in the morning light, inviting speculation. The gentle curves suggested a story waiting to unfold. Perhaps this was a sign from the past or a doorway to an adventure yet to come. With each passing moment, more people arrived, their faces lit with wonder and questions. The station, once neglected and quiet, buzzed with energy as townsfolk tried to make sense of the enchanting mystery before them. The folded tracks had awakened their imaginations and revived long-buried hopes, marking the beginning of an extraordinary tale that would soon change their lives forever. As the townspeople stood captivated by the twisted tracks, an old man named Mr. Hargrove stepped forward, his eyes sparkling with memories. He was known for telling tales of days gone by, and today he felt compelled to share a particularly legendary story that connected to the very tracks beneath their feet. Years ago, he began, drawing in the curious crowd, there was a magnificent stagecoach that traveled these routes. It was no ordinary coach. It was said to carry important passengers, wealthy merchants and travelers with valuable treasures. The kids leaned in closer, their imaginations racing as they envisioned grand adventures. Mr. Hargrove continued, describing how the stagecoach would roll into town like a vision of gold, its wheels glinting in the sunlight. The whispers of excited townsfolk would fill the air as they gathered to catch a glimpse of its passengers. But one fateful night, after a long journey filled with laughter and stories shared among friends, the coach vanished without a trace just as it approached the twisted tracks. Some believed it had crossed into another realm or been claimed by mischievous spirits protecting their secrets. Others thought it might return someday when the time was right. As Mr. Hargrove finished his tale, the crowd buzzed with excitement and wonder at how this legend intertwined with the mysterious phenomenon they now faced. Perhaps the folded tracks were a sign that history was about to repeat itself, or perhaps something new was just beginning. As the sun dipped below the horizon and darkness enveloped the valley, the night air grew thick with anticipation. An unusual stillness settled over the train tracks, interrupted only by the occasional rustle of leaves in the gentle breeze. But it was not just silence that hung in the air. There were strange sounds as well. Soft whispers seemed to float on the wind, carrying with them secrets from long ago. A few brave souls ventured near the tracks that fateful night, drawn by an invisible thread of curiosity. As they gathered, they noticed a faint glow shimmering along the metal railings. The radiance danced and flickered like fireflies in twilight, illuminating the unusual shapes that were forming. From somewhere deep within the shadows, echoes of long-lost laughter and lively conversations filled the air, leaving onlookers both enchanted and uneasy. The very atmosphere pulsed with energy as if something incredible was about to happen. Suddenly, a low rumble reverberated through the ground, causing hearts to race with excitement and fear. The tracks seemed to quiver, bending and folding as if possessed by a force beyond comprehension. In that remarkable moment, villagers felt a deep connection to their history, a sense that they were witnessing something significant. With eyes wide open, they could only imagine what awaited them as midnight approached. Would legendary stories come to life, or would they simply fade into oblivion like so many before? For now, all they could do was stand in awe at this magical transformation taking place before their very eyes. As the townspeople gazed in wonder at the folded tracks, they began to refer to this enchanting sight as the Iron Bow. The name captured both the beauty and the mystery of the twisted rails, which now resembled an elaborate bow ready to launch into the unknown. The way the tracks curled gracefully upward evoked images of a finely crafted arch, shimmering in the light like polished metal. However, beneath this alluring surface lay an undercurrent of danger. The very shape of the iron bow suggested that it was not merely a work of art but also a threshold between worlds, one that beckoned with adventure yet warned of hidden perils. The villagers felt a mix of excitement and unease as they stood before it, knowing that crossing this bow could lead to unforeseen consequences. Mr. Hargrove spoke again, explaining how legends often wrap themselves around symbols like this one. To some, the iron bow was seen as a gateway for lost travelers to return or for forgotten stories to be retold. To others, it was a warning. Only those prepared for whatever awaited on the other side should dare to approach. As whispers filled the air, more townsfolk gathered around, drawn by both fear and fascination. They exchanged tales of what might happen if someone dared to walk across the shimmering track. Would they find treasure like those who once rode in the stagecoach? Or would they become part of a story long lost? The iron bow held secrets waiting to be discovered, leaving everyone captivated by its promise of the extraordinary. Just as the first light of dawn began to break over the horizon, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold, an unexpected sight emerged. The townspeople gasped in unison as the legendary stagecoach, resplendent and regal, appeared at the bend in the tracks. Its polished wooden body gleamed in the early morning light, and the wheels, once thought to be myth, turned with a quiet confidence as if they were untouched by time itself. The stagecoach rolled gracefully across the bent tracks of the iron bow, its presence commanding attention. It seemed as though the world had paused to take notice, and nothing else mattered in that moment. As it glided over the twisted rails, a soft sound echoed through the valley, a melodic chiming that felt familiar yet ethereal, as if the echoes of laughter and distant conversations mingled with the wind. Inside the coach, dark windows reflected only shadows, leaving everyone to wonder who might be traveling within. Was it filled with lost souls or perhaps guardians of forgotten tales? The townspeople stood transfixed, a mix of fear and awe etched on their faces as they absorbed this impossible sight. As it continued its journey over the iron bow, there was an undeniable sense that this moment was woven into the fabric of their history. The stagecoach carried not only the promise of adventure, but also a reminder that some stories never truly fade away. They linger, waiting for those brave enough to embrace them. In that dawn light, it became clear. Magic had returned to their lives, and their town would never be the same again. As the stagecoach continued its elegant path over the iron bow, a sense of mystery enveloped it, hinting at the journey ahead. The townspeople watched, captivated yet anxious, as they speculated about where this majestic carriage was heading. Was it bound for a hidden treasure, a forgotten realm, or perhaps a time long lost to memory? Children peered through darkened windows, hoping to catch a glimpse of the passengers inside, but only shadows danced in response. Some claiming to hear whispers drifting from within felt as though those aboard were calling out to be remembered, urging them onward to brave pathways only dreamt of. Each heartbeat seemed synchronized with the gentle thud of the coach's wheels against the undulating tracks. The notion of oblivion flickered through the crowd's mind, a phrase echoing both fear and wonder. Had it come to collect souls burdened with unfulfilled dreams? Or was it inviting seekers on an adventure that would lead to unexpected discoveries? The air crackled with possibility as legends collided, weaving tales of daring exploits filled with magic and danger. A low rumble filled the valley as if fate itself were conjuring possibilities hidden in the fabric of time. The townsfolk exchanged glances, their hearts racing at the thought that this stagecoach was not just part of local lore. It was an invitation to a world beyond comprehension. What awaited on that inexplicable path? Only those brave enough to follow would uncover the true story waiting just around the bend. The adventure lay before them, beckoning them toward oblivion and beyond. The appearance of the stagecoach sent ripples of emotion through the gathered crowd, creating a tapestry of reactions among the townspeople. While some stood wide-eyed and speechless, others couldn't contain their thrill. "It's a sign of adventure," shouted a young boy, his face aglow with anticipation as he imagined embarking on a grand quest. In contrast, a group of older villagers exchanged worried glances, their brows furrowed with concern. "This isn't right," murmured Mrs. Thompson, clutching her shawl tightly around her shoulders. "What if it brings misfortune? The last time we saw that coach, it vanished without a trace." Her words hung heavy in the air, reminding those who listened of the shadows woven into their town's history. Meanwhile, a few skeptics scoffed at the excitement around them. "It's just an old legend come to life," grumbled Mr. Jenkins, arms crossed defensively. "Nothing more than a trick of the light." Yet his dismissive tone couldn't mask the flicker of curiosity in his eyes. Amid this whirlwind of emotions, local children erupted into laughter and games, pretending to be brave adventurers embarking on daring journeys. As they chased one another around the platform, their innocence reminded the adults that magic still had its rightful place among them. With each shared story and opinion, the townsfolk began to realize that this moment was not just about fear or joy. It was about coming together as a community to face uncertainty head-on. The stagecoach had awakened something powerful within them, hope for new beginnings and a collective spirit eager for whatever fate awaited beyond the iron bow. As the townspeople stood around the iron bow, a profound reflection settled over them. The extraordinary sight of the stagecoach had ignited dreams and desires long buried beneath the weight of everyday life. For some, it was a chance to rekindle hope for a brighter future filled with adventure. What if we could leave this place and discover something new? Young Emily pondered aloud, her eyes shining with excitement. Her words resonated with those who yearned for change, stirring aspirations of escaping the mundane. Yet, amidst the thrill lay an undercurrent of doubt. Mrs. Thompson shook her head, eyes filled with uncertainty. "But what if we lose everything we've built? What if this is just a beautiful illusion?" Her worries echoed in the hearts of others who had seen their dreams fade before, torn between the comfort of their familiar lives and the tantalizing promise of something more. As they considered this strange occurrence, they began to question where dreams ended and reality began. Could this enchanted moment signify a turning point? Some felt drawn to embrace change, willing to take risks in pursuit of their dreams. Others hesitated, fearing the unknown and the possibility of loss. In that fragile space between hope and fear, the townsfolk realized that dreams were not just whimsical thoughts. They were powerful forces capable of shaping their futures. As they watched the stagecoach disappear into the horizon, they understood that whether they chose to follow it or stay behind, this moment would forever mark a shift in their lives. A reminder that every choice held the potential for new beginnings or lingering regrets. As the stagecoach rolled gracefully toward the horizon, it seemed to glide through a shimmering veil of enchantment. The townspeople watched, breaths held in anticipation and awe, as it approached the edge of the iron bow. Moments felt stretched, like time itself was under the spell of this magical spectacle. The gentle clattering of its wheels faded into the distance, echoing their hopes and fears. Suddenly, as if the fairy tale was reaching its climax, the air shimmered around the coach. Just before it vanished from sight, a radiant light enveloped it, casting a warm glow that momentarily illuminated the bewildered faces of the villagers. They instinctively took a step closer, straining to catch any last glimpse of their beloved legend disappearing into the unknown. When the light finally dimmed, the stagecoach had gone, leaving behind an eerie tranquility and a thick air of mystery. The path it had traveled remained etched in memory, a shared experience that transformed them all. Questions lingered like whispers on the wind. Where had it gone? Would it one day return? Did it hold promises of new adventures or still untold stories for those brave enough to follow? What remained was a sense of magic that wrapped around them like a comforting shawl. The villagers exchanged knowing glances, bound by this unforgettable moment. They understood now that life was intertwined with dreams and mysteries, and though they faced uncertainty, they would always carry the spark of possibility within them. The stagecoach may have vanished into oblivion, but its spirit lived on in their hearts, reminding them that magic and fate awaited just beyond the horizon.